seen the videos that they like record in the studio, but it's pre-recorded.
Yeah. So everybody's live right now. And remember, I'll also ask you like questions,
Is this
whatever.
mic okay? Or
Yeah.
is it?
No, it looks good. Looks fine.
I
Mish,
think it's
Mish,
not
can
me.
you just like help me like moderate if you get questions here, whatever, and also just see how she looks there.
What do you mean?
What must I do?
Mishka will then have to repeat the question to me.
No.
Oh, you sit on that tree.
Okay, go on your Insta and just check if you can hear, the sound.
The sound of this.
Yeah.
Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Sound.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
great.
good.
Okay, great. Okay.
I sit here.
Yeah, so if you get a question there, you can just like put your hand up and then you can ask her, read the question to her when she stops. Do you remember any of the questions that we had from JP?
Do you accept with my request to be in your live video?
No. Who was that?
Dora D. Boy.
No. Not right now. So he asked you, I remember he asked you,
How long does it take from the pre-approval process to the end? That's
Yes.
timeline.
that's a timeline,
And then,
like where you fit into the process,
yes, and what's the common mistake new first-time buyers make?
and then for property valuations, like we can do that for them after we've confirmed their pre-approval. So once you give the certificate, then we can do that. Understand? So
Okay.
we can just unpack that extra value add.
On the pre-approval side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone, I hope you are keeping well. Winter has definitely arrived. Not sure about the other provinces because we are in Western Cape Province and we've had a lot of rainfall. So yeah, we're trying to stay warm, trying to stay cozy. As you can see, I've got a warm cup of tea in my hand to keep my hands warm. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It is Friday, it's month end, and I will just say that I've had a really positive June month in the home loan space. We've had an influx of people approaching us for the home loan pre-approvals. It seems like the market is just buzzing at the moment. Lots and lots of people looking to purchase property, looking to sell their existing properties, buying new properties, upscaling, or just generally first-time buyers coming into the market. You know, so we're seeing a big influx and we're seeing a lot of activity, which is surprising for me happened during the month of June because usually in winter we find that the home loan space kind of takes a little bit of a dip and picks up again in summertime. But I feel that Cape Town especially has a huge demand for property at the moment. And a lot of people are aware that, you know, property prices are just going to increase considerably from here on out. And so getting your foot in the door, you know, as soon as you can, as soon as you're able to, is very important at the moment because of the hype surrounding the properties and the demand thereof in Cape Town specifically. So I've been seeing that uptick which is exciting. This comes around seldomly, probably within a space of 5 years or so, and we usually see that uptick when there's rate reductions in the prime rate, and we've just experienced that rate reduction in May, if you're all aware of the 25 basis points drop. I have a question or comment that's come through.
So just introduce yourself again, like who you are, what you do, and I forgot what else I wanted to say now. So people are saying hi, so you can just welcome them.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today on this cozy wintry afternoon. My name is Olen. I work for the brand Multinet Home Loans. They are one of 3 major bond originators that are licensed by the major banks to offer home loan products to the open market. And so Multinet Home Loans is the only independent bond originator company out there. And so what that means specifically is that, we are not sort of biased to any specific estate agency. We are free to assist property buyers, across the board. So yes, I'm not going to dive into that today specifically, but I've been with Multinet for the past 17 years now, and I find that their work ethic is amazing. They are really the best when it comes out to helping you as the home buyer to facilitate your approval process with the various banks in a smooth, hassle-free manner. And they're the most transparent, in terms of what's happening in your process. And, they are just an all-round great company to partner with for your home loan, because, we take our jobs very seriously here, and we are also dedicated to the buyer's best interest. We're in your corner every step of the way, from pre-approval right through to your bond registration. It doesn't just only stop at, when we secured you the best offering. If there's any, follow-through questions that you want to, check in with us whilst you're dealing with your bond attorneys, we're here to assist, we're here to support that process for you as employees of the Multinet Bond Origination Home Loan Company. So yes.
So just invite them to ask questions, and then just mention that you'll be online now, live for about 20 minutes. They're welcome to.
So yes, thanks guys for tuning in, and you're welcome to pop me a comment or a question you may have as you are perhaps looking to buy property and finance property. So yes, I'm here for your comments and questions for the next 20 minutes.
So you've just received a question. Hi, me and my husband are looking to purchase our first home. What is the best way forward?
Hi there, thank you for your comment. As first-time buyers, for you and your husband, it is so important to secure a pre-approval assessment, an in-depth comprehensive assessment. So I would suggest that you reach out to our office. My email address is hello@olen.co.za, and you can send that inquiry directly on that email. One of my team members will respond to you within the same day, and we will then request certain documents that we would look at assessing for your pre-approval. It takes approximately 2 business days at most once we receive your paperwork for the pre-approval process, and then we will give you the outcome thereof. If it's successful, you'll be issued with a pre-approval certificate, which can be used then as a negotiating tool with your purchase process, with yourself and the agents that you encounter, and you can then issue that pre-approval certificate, which will aid you in securing a successful accepted offer. Which platform?
TikTok. The other question? Do you get it?
And then you had another question. Can you help with new companies?
Hi there, thank you for your question or comment raised about new companies. So if it depends on two things. If your company is newly registered and you are dependent on that newly registered company's income to support the loan repayment, then unfortunately we find that the banks will require 2 years records of those financials. So newly registered company, if the finance that you are receiving from that newly formed company is going to be repaying the home loan, then unfortunately we cannot use that because the minimum requirements are 2 years. However, if it's a newly registered company, non-trading, and you just wish to use the company to purchase the property, however you are full-time employed and you are signing surety on behalf of the newly formed company, yes, in that instance we can assist you. So send us an email, hello@olen.co.za for more information on how to go about that process. If it's a company that you are not generating income from necessarily to support the home loan repayment.
We have another question. Would it be wise for us to purchase a car first to help with our credit score?
Thank you so much for your comment raised. It is unfortunately not the best way to go about preparing your credit score by applying for a car finance at first. I would rather suggest you start with a smaller retail account, such as a clothing retail account, with a very small limit, and use that continually on a month-to-month basis, or alternatively a mobile phone contract. Those are the two accounts ideally I would support in opening, and this wouldn't impact your affordability too heavily in terms of making sure that you can afford that home loan repayment, because car repayments are quite hefty, the installments are quite high, and so you want to open up an account or two that doesn't attract such a high installment. So no, I would steer away from the car finance account, and I would rather go with 1 or 2 small retail accounts like a clothing or mobile phone account, and then maintain those repayments like clockwork. And I would say it would take approximately 6 to 8 months to have a healthy credit score then grow from the repayments on those facilities.
You can just encourage them to like this live stream if they enjoy it.
Hi guys, please feel free to subscribe if you are enjoying this content. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that interaction with these lives, so that we can actually promote having more lives for you and more content, published or recorded for you as you navigate your home loan application process. So yes, I was just tailing off a little bit there. Is there any other comments for now, or can I proceed to talk about the pre-approval process?
We're just checking. Okay. Yeah, that's all for now.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, great. Sorry, my team is just checking for all the comments. We don't want to miss any comments. Here we have one
One just come through. Do you also assist if you want to transfer your loan?
Thank you so much for your question raised. It's a very good question. I've been getting a lot of these lately. Unfortunately, we are unable to assist with switching of your existing facility over to an alternative bank. So we are only able to finance or assist with financing and raising finance for new property purchases. For the switching, you would have to actually apply and approach the banks directly to transfer one existing facility to a new bank.
And then you have another one. Can you assist with a bond to build in the village of Eastern Cape?
Thank you so much for your comment. We have also been receiving quite a few inquiries on our side with regarding rural land that people are looking to build on. So if it's an informal settlement, unfortunately the banks are not open or keen to proceed with financing options there because it comes with its own set of rules in terms of pricing, etc. It's not really, on the open market, it's not really linked to pricing and valuations in the open market. So it is a high risk for the bank's assessment teams to fund and finance, properties that need to be built on informal settlement land or in villages. So unfortunately, we cannot assist with those particular applications. It would have to be, an earth that, if it's a vacant earth, for example, or a vacant plot, it needs to have, the title deed registered to the municipality in that specific city, or wherever that neighborhood is, jurisdiction is held under that specific municipality. It will have a title deed or an owner's deed to that land, and with that we can then approach the banks. But unfortunately, not with informal settlement or villages in the Eastern Cape.
Someone, I think his name is Wandile, sent you a gift.
A gift? Oh wow, thank you Wandile for the gift. I appreciate that. Is it a virtual gift?
He had something on TikTok live, and I think he's got a question. You can ask him if he does.
Hi Wandile, hope you are well. Thank you for the virtual gift on TikTok. We've seen it, it's come through. Yes, please feel free to send me your comment or question. I'll be happy to answer.
And then someone's just asked, any advice on credit scoring? What is a good credit score for home loans?
Thank you so much for your comment raised regarding credit scores. It is actually at the forefront of your home loan application process. The banks have a set of rules called scorecard, and part of the minimum requirements to pass that scorecard is a healthy credit score. And a healthy credit score, for instance, is a score that is above 680, just in terms of empirical score, the minimum criteria for a home loan approval. And that empirical score, it's made up of how many accounts you have, active accounts you have, so not too many on your profile. Are you repaying them in full on time? The due date, by the due date, your payment is received, your minimum installment, it's not underpaid, it's not paid late. So that kind of payment record is recorded. And then, also, so the number of accounts and how much and how well you are, paying that account. So that's what the score looks at. Also, it looks at your history of other properties that you've maybe purchased on your profile.
And then we have another one. Is it possible to get 100% bond for a plot?
Thank you so much for your question raised about plot finance. So when you're purchasing a plot on its own, right, and it's without building plans, it's without your building contract, it's just purely the plot that you're looking to buy, the banks only consider up to 60% of the selling price, the purchase price that you and the seller have agreed on to fund, as a standalone plot purchase. However, if you do have the building plans and the contract, it now becomes a plot and plan home loan application, and we can then assist with securing up to 100% of the plot price and up to 100% of the building loan.
What does the interest rates look like on those kind of
The
loans?
interest rates on the building loans, I've secured up to 1.5% below prime on building loans. So gone are the days where they used to, add a percent on top of prime, for example. and highly inflate these building loan rates. At the moment, the banks are actually quite competitive with regards to building loan rates. It's also dependent on, whether you're asking for the 100% loan or whether you're planning to put in a deposit contribution. So you don't necessarily need the bank's full fund to build your project. That will also impact your interest rate that you can expect to secure.
And then can you just speak about some cases that you've
Can
recently
you
come
hear me
to?
clearly now?
I think so, because the questions are coming.
Okay, great. All right, great. So at the moment, this past week, I've had two interesting cases that come to mind that I've managed to secure pre-approvals for. The first client is a doctor, a medical professional that's based in Dubai, and they are earning foreign currency. And so we've got to look at, do they have a credit record here? Because that will determine to the banks here how much percentage of your purchase price they're willing to actually offer you. Are you someone that's looking to come back to the country? Do you have a strong alliance with South Africa? You're not even though you're working abroad, are you planning to just, stay there forever and forego responsibilities here in South Africa? So a lot of these applicants, it's very important to instill the sense of it's important to open up a local bank account here, keep that account active. So for any South African citizen or even a foreigner that's looking to apply for a home loan here, it's important to have a track record here, a footprint here that sort of eases the bank's concern to whether if you would be committed to actually repaying that home loan. So you've got to instill that confidence in the bank's credit assessment team. And how we do that is making sure you have a local credit footprint. You keep 1 or 2 accounts active and open here when you do go abroad and work abroad. And you keep a local bank account active by sending money here, transferring in, and having 1 or 2 debit orders going off that account. So very, very important to maintain that history here locally. Sometimes we make the mistake of just closing off everything and going to work overseas, and then we think, okay, that's it. But there will be this reckoning of, oh my word, I am going to plan to come back to my home country sometime or the other, and 5 years can go in a blink of an eye. So you'll find yourself wanting to make those plans to come back, buy property here, but then you needed to have that local footprint, banking footprint.
2 things.
How is a home loan worked into car financing?
And how do you pronounce it?
Sebolelo,
Sepulelo.
the estate agent, says she is such a big fan.
Hi Sibulila, thank you so much for your positive comment. I'm glad to hear that I have a good fan out there. Thank you for supporting the content. So, thank you for your comment regarding car finance. Let me just clear my throat. With regards to the query raised or the comment raised on car finance and how it's somehow linked to a home loan, one of the companies we partner with at Multinet are called Sentinel Homes, and they have a product that works similarly to how car finance works. It's called an installment sale agreement. So how that works is, particularly, you are repaying a home loan on the same basis as you would a normal home loan. So your bond repayment is very similar. In structure, it's a 20-year term, for example. However, it comes into play with regards to property ownership. So if you look at car finance, right, you only become the title deed owner of that vehicle after your vehicle finance is fully settled and paid. It's the very same with the installment sale agreement with Sentinel Homes. So you will be repaying the loan as usual. However, it's just when you become the actual registered owner of the property and you get the title deed to that property once you settle the finance agreement. However, just a reminder, just like with car finance, even though you're not the registered title deed owner, you can still sell the car. You can still return it to the dealership. It may be at a lesser amount than what you bought it for. You can still sell it privately. Same thing with the property. With Sentinel Homes, you can still sell that property, and you can still go about doing that. And let's say you get a profit from the sale, you can settle the installment agreement with Sentinel Homes, and you receive the profit for your property. So very same circumstances there. It's the only differentiation between a conventional home loan and an installment sale home loan. And the repayments work the same. So yeah, it's different in the way also that it's assessed when it comes to self-employed clients applying for these kind of home loans.
Okay, so just a 5-minute check. This is the last 5 minutes. Get some questions in, invite them, and then while you're waiting for that, can you talk about which bank is offering the best rates at the moment, and how does that fluctuate?
Hi, so I've just got another 5 minutes left, so if you want to quickly send me your comments, now's the time to do so. And while I'm waiting on all those comments to come through, just quickly want to give you a roundup on, we've had a very busy June month. We're seeing a big uptick in the home loans market space. We can see that there's a lot of new buyers coming into the market. We've gotten, quite busy over this June period, and I think it's got a lot to do also with the diminishing interest, or not diminishing, but the reduction in the prime rate. So that's had a knock-on effect on interest rates. The interest rate, prime rate of now being at 10.75 has a direct impact to stimulating the market. And now we're seeing that coming through on our side. I mean, this month of June, I think was one of our busiest months that I can remember any other Junes being. So that's great for the owner space. It's very important, if you are looking to purchase, secure your pre-approval. There is no obligation. Once you've secured your pre-approval, it just gives you, the confidence to shop, so that if something does come your way, you're ready, you're prepared, and you're equipped. And you have us in your corner that can assist you with that process. At the moment, we're seeing phenomenal interest rate offerings from Nedbank, up to 1.8% below prime, on the lowest interest rate I secured for the month of June, which is absolutely phenomenal.
You've got a question come through. Does a foreigner need to have a credit record in order for them to get a home loan?
Thank you so much for your question. Does a foreigner need to have a credit record? So I would say it's important to at least have a bank record, a local bank account record here. However, if you are a foreigner and you have the 50% deposit, the full 50% deposit requirement to purchase property here in South Africa, then it's not so important to have a credit record necessarily. Just a local bank record would suffice. However, if you're a foreigner and you do not have any residential permit here in South Africa, and you're earning your income from outside of the country, you can only then expect, either way, whether you have a credit record or not, you can only expect to raise a 50% home loan. But for foreigners that are here, have a temporary residence permit, it's important to have a bank record here, I would say. Yeah, but send me an email and hello@olen.co.za, pop me a message there, and I'll be happy to schedule a consultation to unpack that further.
Another one, Olen. If you work for yourself and still pay yourself as salary? Question mark.
Hi there. Thank you so much for your comment about working for yourself and paying yourself a salary. So if you are self-employed and you own a business that's at least 2 years in operation, okay, that's very important, and you are paying yourself a fixed salary every month into your personal, so you're drawing that out from your business account into your personal account and it's a set salary, it does make it a lot easier for us to pre-approve you and secure your home loan finance. You will not be seen necessarily as a salaried full-time employee. You will still be viewed as a self-employed business applicant. However, the assessment process in securing your home loan and your affordability assessment that accompanies your home loan application will be much more streamlined if you are, actively paying yourself a salary on a set date every month into your personal account. It's very helpful for self-employed business owners to do that to run that practice through the month-to-month transactions, and it just aids you incredibly when it comes to ourselves assisting with securing your home loan finance.
And then I think the last one, you just explained the credit score and the foreigner client, right? Same client is asking or viewers asking. The 50% you are referring to says that 50% and attorney's fees.
Hi, good day. Thank you for your follow-up comment. So the 50% deposit requirement for foreigners purchasing property in South Africa and requiring a mortgage, the 50% deposit excludes attorney fees, which means you still need to cover the transfer and bond registration fees over and above the 50% deposit. Thank you everyone for signing in today. Please like, please subscribe if you enjoyed the chat today, so that we can actually have more of these sessions roll out and just equip everyone out there to help them better understand the process of securing home loans at the best possible interest rate, at the lowest cost, and at a free service to you. So yeah, thank you so much for your support. Have a great weekend.
Okay, I'm just letting the likes tally
I
up.
can't believe they actually